The meat puppies, they come to the slaughter, like children to an ice cream truck. Here's your look at the McFarlane toys. Borderlands 3, Psycho. Psychos are deranged maniacs commonly armed with buzz axes and grenades. They are frequent sight among bandits, and usually provide the front line of any hostile bandit group. The Borderlands 3 Psycho comes included with knife and buzz axe. Members of the mob, the first thing we're going to do is measure off to the very top of the Psycho. And we're going to be stopping it right there. That seems like a good place. According to the readouts on my trusty tape measure, if you guys can see that okay, the Psycho stands 7.1 inches in height. And in centimeters, that works out to be 18.1, so a little over 18 centimeters in height. For the figure's accessories, the Psycho comes included with a display stand, a magnet, unfortunately, to fingerprints. You'll probably find yourself wiping off the display stand frequently due to the type of sheen that they've put to the plastic. Borderlands is featured on the front, though it doesn't say Psycho. At least I would give props to any company, in this case McFarlane Toys, that would actually use display stands, or at least include them. This seems small, yes, but you'd be surprised how many companies actually don't include display stands, and something like this I think is a good way to showcase figures. So again, very happy the fact that McFarlane Toys would actually include this. Fingerprint magnet aside, it's really neat the fact that they would actually include a display stand. I know it's small, but think of the last time you actually got a figure that came with its own unique display stand, or even really any display stand whatsoever. I'll wait and let you guys think about that. Okay, we got to obviously move forward with this review. Producers are panicking quite quickly. All the other things to come included with the Psycho is a sheath with knife. The knife doesn't seem to be removable. Forcing it would only ultimately result in it breaking, so I'm going to refrain from pulling it, because obviously it's not going to be going anywhere. It's got some really nice paint done to it. It's given it almost a faux leather look. Even on the handle itself, you can see how it's been wrapped up. It's just, again, a very crude looking knife, something of which you would imagine the Psycho would have had for a long period of time. Yes, a big noticeable peg on the back. Whereabouts does that go? Let's grab the figure here. On the side of its leg, you'll see there's a hole. No, it's not for draining fluid. Actually, that is, although that would be interesting. The knife actually goes right there. Right there. It doesn't seem to restrict movement in the knee. We'll talk about that later on. But because the bend is right below the knife. I'm sure if you are trying to move the knee, you might actually accidentally clip the knife. But it seems pretty securely in there. I mean, this would be a ridiculous test. The Blizzard test, but I can assure you it seems to be pretty stable and securely in there. Also included, get the figure to stand there just for a second. Also included, he comes of course with his buzz axe. What a neat looking trinket. I certainly would love to see one of these actually make their way into like a 1-to-1 scale. I mean, that's not that far of a stretch to believe something like that could be feasible. We all, after all, did get a 1-to-1 scale of course, Negan's bat. I'm drawing a complete blank actually right now. I'm actually surprisingly drawing a blank as to the name of his bat. Lucille, thank you. Somebody just yelled at me from the... Ooh, that was really loud. But we did get a Lucille 1-to-1 scale. Why not? If we're going to get that, it's feasible to think that we could get ourselves a 1-to-1 scale buzz axe. I certainly would love to pick up one of those. You probably saw while I was trying to tap into my memory banks that the buzzsaw does actually spin. I like that. It's got the little pedal down below there, and it does have some wear and tear to it. You can see that they've added a bit of a wash of red. Perhaps blood? I'll leave it to you to decide. The axe itself does fit into the Psycho's hand. Unfortunately, though, it only fits into this hand. This hand right here is completely molded shut. I wonder what the decision-making is involved when it comes to planning out how a figure is going to work, come together, and, you know, just overall be manufactured. Why they choose to close fist this hand and open fist or with a gripping hand on this side. They could have easily just put gripping hands on both sides. but I guess they want you to specifically put the buzz axe into this hand. When you are putting it into the hand, just be careful because the pedal, the little lever there on the side, is a separate piece of plastic. The last thing you would want to do is be forcing that in between the fingers and the thumb and ultimately break that off, so just be a little bit careful of that. Obviously, this is going to be the go-to way of displaying the figure, at least in my household. I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to put this into his hand. There is no other place to store it. There is technically like a little chain area, a gap, if you will, between the chains and his cargo pants. I guess in theory, if you wanted to, you could take the axe out of his hand. Be careful again of this little, because this is a separate piece. Don't know if you can see it or not. At least that, maybe it isn't. Maybe it is attached piece. But what you could do is you could slide the axe down, which is again something I've considered, although most likely I'll be leaning towards the idea of displaying it in his hand. And you can put that in between like that. Just a storage place. It's not intended, I'm sure, to be there. There's no instructions telling me I can't put it there. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's a good place as any, as you can put the buzz axe if you aren't currently displaying him with it. Let's put that down. Let's move the display stand out of the way and have a look at the Borderlands 3 Psycho. Not a bad looking figure, I have to admit. One thing I have to say straight out the gate, right off the bat, is the NECA Toys really did capture that panel lining that is oh so the familiar sight with the Borderlands characters. This panel lining that they put into the chest, obviously you can see quite a bit of it in the abdomen sections, and even like in the arms and the legs. I really do like that. The paint definitely does reminiscent, it's very reminiscent of how the characters look actually in the game. Even the way the skin, the surface of the Psycho, has the same similar paint scheme as it does in the game. The mask, of course, is very familiar. Very much a Psycho mask. Love, again, the paint job that they added to it. The glowing, or almost glowing eyes that they've managed to put into the sockets of the mask is really neat. It does look like I've got it currently lit up. I assure you, there's nothing there. No sleight of hand, no dark magic at work here. But the glowing eyes really are a successful pull-off. And simply, again, that's just been painted in place. I like the dirtied nature of the mask. Of course, it's strapped around to the back. The head, I can't help but notice, does look a little bit different color scheme here to here. You could chalk it up to additional dirt. Maybe specifically his head just got dirtier than the rest of his body. But it does cause for a bit of a jarring line of, you can see right there where it differs in color scheme. Here, it's not quite the same color as here. I kind of hoped it would have been a continuation of this color, making its way up there. Not sure why that's so much dirtier. Should I care about that? Maybe. Why not? You can see the ears, of course, sculpted into the sides. The ears are actually nicely done, too. I don't know why I'm pointing and focusing everybody's attention on those ears. I know you're looking at them right now. Not bad looking ears all around. As we continue our way down the Psycho's body, he's got these spiked knuckles that's on both sides, and spiked blades, or little spiked pieces, on the forearm there as well. I like the amount of detail that they managed to put all into the pants. Not only do you have texturing done, as you can see there in the pant surface, the plastic itself has been kind of given these little lined edges. You can see how the texturing's been put in place there. You can see the belt buckle. A couple layers of things happening here. The main belt with the belt buckle, then you've got the brown leather belt in front of that. Then you've got the chains in front of that. It's a good layered effect, and it makes it feel like there's a lot of stuff going on. Grenades located on the back there. You've got the pants pockets. Continuing our way down, all the way down to his feet. Now, the feet, I find, are a little difficult. They don't seem to have any posability. You can move them side to side, but that's really about it. It does cause for a bit of a problem when you are wanting to display the figure. That is, of course, where the peg hole comes into play. You can make use of the display stand, which not only serves the function of telling you exactly what the character is from, but I guess its primary function is to allow the figure to stand upright, which is, of course, the real reason why I would want to be using the stand. Well, that's not true. I'd want to use the stand for both reasons. Looking at this guy's articulation, his head rotates all the way around. It hinges up and down, and it rocks back and forth. Personally speaking, just my own personal preference, I'm going to probably have the head slightly swayed off to the side. I think that kind of adds to the deranged nature of the Psycho. The top torso is on a ball joint. You can move that quite a bit around as well. I like that. The arms hinge outward. Let's bring that back a little bit so you guys can see everything that's going on. The arms don't fully go at a 90-degree angle. I think if I was to gauge that, and I'm no mathematician after all, but I would say that's probably about a 75 to 80 degree angle. It doesn't seem to go any bit further up than that, just simply because of the way the shoulders are designed. The arms rotate all the way around. You can sort of see the calling card of this figure. In fact, if I didn't know this was McFarlane Toys, if somebody wasn't yelling at the back of the crowd, McFarlane Toys, I would instantly know what company has produced the Psycho simply by those very awkwardly looking ratcheted joints. It's something that, of course, has been made prevalent, quite consistent across the board, that all his figures have that. The Walking Dead figures had that, and most definitely, of course, you've got that here on the Borderlands figures as well. There's a swivel on the bicep, a single hinge on the elbow. Once again, there's those. I think they're so ugly, but I'm sure they must have served some purpose. I guess it's to make the joints a little stiffer. I mean, the joint still feels loose, so I don't think that serves that function. And then the hands rotate all the way around. You can hinge them back and forth as well. When it comes down to his legs, he does have a waist swivel, and his legs split out. Luckily, the chains and everything else that's going on downstairs doesn't get in the way of moving the Psycho's legs. Although you do get a little bit more limitation when you want to move the leg forward. Both legs seem a little bit restricted in that department. Then we can get down to the knees bend. You can rotate the lower legs. A bit loose, a bit too loose for my liking. But I guess I'm not going to really have the figure displayed in anything other than a straight leg pose. Overall, really liking this figure quite a bit. It's one thing, certainly, about the Borderlands designs. They are very unique to other game characters. You can kind of look at them right away and know that they're from Borderlands, even if maybe, I guess, if you don't play the game or have not had much exposure to the game, you probably don't know who this character is. But I really do like what McFarlane Toys has done to a figure like this. It's sort of borderlanding, a borderline, to maybe something that NECA has produced as well. I think NECA could have done just as good of a job, but I'm really liking what McFarlane's done a lot here. And of course, the icing on the cake is the fact that he does come with a display stand. I don't know why this is such a big deal. And yet, I really enjoy the fact that the Psycho here did come with a display stand. The Borderlands series of games are unique in the sense that all the characters have a very different approach for their design. This bold panel lining worked so well in the game, and works quite equally well when it comes to the figures themselves. I think McFarlane Toys has done a really bang-up job here on the Psycho, and we're going to be having a look at some other Borderlands 3 figures in some upcoming reviews. I just gave it away. I like the fact that the figure does, of course, come with the Buzz Axe. Just an FYI, McFarlane Toys. Not that you guys are watching. I don't think you guys are watching. If you are, though, could you please make a Buzz Axe 1-to-1 scale? I mean, you did it for Lucille. I drew a blank as to the name of the bat, but don't worry, you members of the mob were able to pop that memory into my head. I don't know how you did it. Dark magic, maybe? A Buzz Axe, if you please. Mr. McFarlane, 1-to-1 scale. If you have managed to pick up this figure for yourself, let me know down below in the comments section. No, I'm not I'm not directing that to Todd McFarlane. I'm certain he's picked it up for himself. In fact, he probably has one of these in his shelf space of collectibles, and he didn't have to buy that stuff. That's one of the benefits of owning your own company. They probably just brought in the first batch, said, Todd, he says, it's Mr. McFarlane. Mr. McFarlane, here is your Psycho. And then that's probably how he got it. He didn't have to go to a comic book store. I got mine from a local comic book store because I'm not Todd McFarlane. I'd like to be, but I'm not. If you, again, did pick up this figure for yourself, most definitely let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of it. And like I said, I tipped my hat early. I know. We're going to be having a look at some other Borderlands 3 figures in some upcoming reviews. If you are new to this channel or a long-time viewer, please, oh please, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, not just for me, it's for you as well, so that you guys can benefit by all the upcoming videos hitting this channel. And also while you're at it, a generous mood and time on your hands, swing on over to the homepage. See if there's anything that you may have missed along the way. A whole lot of videos coming your way. Yes, I know, I already gave away what else is coming your way. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.